We'll look at the indices and we'll look at individual stocks. 24,474 is where the Nifty is at. 53,824 is where the Sensex is at right now. So 0.25% higher on the Nifty, about 1/3% higher on the Nifty Bank. Nifty Bank, of course, is the big underperformer. The small cap index is starting about 1/3% higher, and you got the mid cap index, which is up 0.5%. So this is a much better start as compared to, of course, what we saw last week, and generally the trend that we've seen now for some time. Just the Nifty heat map in terms of how many stocks are up and down. So it's largely, 7-8 names are lower, but everything else is starting in the green. There is IT, which I can spot a bunch of names there. On the other end of the sort of spectrum is Tata Consumer, which is starting lower, but it's largely up and about this morning. 80 points nearly on the Nifty. Surabhi.
Okay, it's quiet and quiet, but with a positive bias, so it's not bad. Getting an 80-point pop. Movers on the upside. Infosys, IndusInd Bank, there's Trent, which is seeing some traction. Bajaj Auto, Power Grid, these are the stocks. So they're basically cutting across sectoral lines. But yes, IT is actually doing a little better. And remember CLSA's note, where they see perhaps higher levels ahead of some of these stocks. They're all up and about. Tech Mahindra as well, Wipro, there's some green on overall IT. L&T is continuing its good form from Friday. There's buying in Eternal, in Trend, so some consumer names as well. On the flip side, on the Nifty, you have Reliance, which is still a drag, and Balaji explained to us why. That this Jio, if the IPO happens without a demerger, then there could be a risk of a holding company discount on Reliance increasing. And therefore, that's putting pressure on the stock. Tata Consumer, HUL are some of the other weak names. But beyond that, it's a green-looking screen for the Nifty. So not too bad, 24,500.
Well, that's right. The big mover actually today has to be Torrent Power. They have won that LOA for a 1,600 megawatt thermal plant in MP. A couple of brokerages believe the plant can generate 15 to 17% IRRs. So that's why that stock, in fact, is up close to 3.5%. The loser on the downside actually is Sterlite Technologies, because the US subsidiary is facing a penalty that amounts to $96.5 million. So because of that, I think that's one of the big losers from the broader markets. The stock is much lower. Last time I checked, yes, it's still down close to around 5%. So big downtick is what we're seeing on that particular name. What else? A few more stocks actually that are coming on your radar. You have some strength that we're seeing in Godavari Power and Ispat. Stock is up close to around 4.5%. But Samvardhana Motherson, that's up close to 2.5%. BSE, the stock has fallen one way from around 3,000 to around 2,000. Today, in fact, it's popping up close to around 2% in trade. So decent start, 80 points higher. Remember, we're looking at making a higher high from a bullish perspective. So that 24,572 mark becomes the important mark to track on the upside. But 100 points up, pretty good.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Just adding one more stock to Nigel's list, Zydus Wellness. The market is receiving that UK acquisition pretty well. Stock's up 3.5%. This company called Comfort Click that they've bought it for about 240 million, which is, just a little under 2 times sales. The market seems to like it, for the time being at least.
Okay, well, lots happening, lots moving, and we will, of course, get you more as we go along in terms of individual names, etc.